Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Tonight it's the old school show, back again on a Tuesday night. So I thought what we'd do this week, we're going to talk about our expectations for each of our clubs, respectively. Arsenal, obviously, for me and Kenny. Tony for West Ham. Yeti for Nottingham Forest. And if the Yeti mentions them two bleeding stars, mate, I said you're kicked out. Seriously.
What? 2 stars?
Yeah, I'll get it. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. But Kenny, how you doing, mate? Enjoying the summer?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the summer. As you can imagine, it's there's World Club Championships. Obviously, there's cricket, but that's kind of basically talking. I mean, sort of like Swahili to call you guys, because I don't detect any of you guys being fans of any form of cricket. So I'll keep that conversation brief. But you've got the Women's World Cup starts next week. So the Women's Euros start next week. And remember, we're still well into the World Club Championships, which let's face it, I think I would like Arsenal to be involved in things like that, because all the big clubs in Europe and the world are involved. So Arsenal should be looking to get into future tournaments.
True. I totally agree. I find it very annoying that we're not actually there. When you look at other things like Auckland City in New Zealand, all amateur players, and they're there. You know what I'm saying? And Arsenal couldn't get there. But it's a joke, man. It's a joke. Tone, enjoying the summer, man? Having a little break?
No, I'm working, mate, as always. I don't get time off, unfortunately, with my place. It's got a nice air-conditioned office anyway. But, yeah, I'm enjoying the weather. It's been really brilliant. Today was nice and cool, so there was a nice breeze. Bit of a difference. It's got a bit hot now this afternoon. But yeah, mate, gotta love it. Can't complain, basically.
Good, man. Good. Yeti, what's it like up there in Nottingham? Is it nice and warm and enjoying yourself?
Mate, it's killer for me. But I mean, as you can see, I mean, look, I'm that white. I get sunburnt very easily. So going to the shop earlier on. Thought I'd wear like not a sweat top, but like, because when I went out yesterday, the wind was a bit harsh, so I thought, I'm not going to get done again. Oh my days, I was sweating buckets. I swear, if I stayed out there for more than like 30 minutes, I'd pass out, and I'd bet there'd be an ambulance picking me up.
Bloody hell, man.
But anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Proper hot. It's actually nice today. It's about 24. It's overcast, but it's still warm. That's a bit more my temperature. It's been up 38, 36 last week, and that's just too much for me. I can't handle that. It's not enjoyable. It's a dry heat. It's dry, but it's still too hot for me. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into this. I'm going to start off with you, Tom. West Ham had a bit of an iffy season last season, buddy. Nearly ended up out of the Prem. Close run thing, but we survived. What do you think West Ham have got to do this year to get you back up to where you should be? I mean, you shouldn't be down there, man. Come on.
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, the ideal thing is to get new ownership. That's the number one priority, I think, for most West Ham fans, because I think basically with Sullivan and Brady, their time's done, really. There's no progression in the club itself in that respects. We've got a training ground that is not exactly really fit for purpose. And obviously we don't own a ground. So that's, not easy as well. And we never capitalised on, once we won the Europa Conference, we never basically spent from that point onwards. So we are struggling. And as you saw last season, for most West Ham fans, I think we can definitely say this one we want to forget.
Yeah, it was a close run thing, mate. Yeah, you had a good season. Very good season.
Yes.
Nottingham Forest in the Cups didn't do that well, but you were in that run to nearly get Europe. Sadly, at the end, didn't quite hold it off. Bit of a shame that. What is your ambitions for next season?
Well, my ambitions is to do better, as it always is, and it always should be. We've got to follow it on now. We can't just do one season and then all of a sudden slip away, So we've got to follow it on. got to keep all the players. I think Newcastle have just offered 45 million for Alanga. Yeah, all right, mate. And make it more 100, and then we might actually talk. Now, before anybody says he's not worth 100 million, I don't give a flying shit what he's worth. It's business. We're asking that, and then if you want to knock us down after that, then you can. But I'm loving the way things are going at the minute because, Nuno's just got a new contract or just about to sign it, which I think is massively deserved. When I first started doing this YouTube, and I think you asked me the question who I'd want as manager, and I said Nuno then. If he could sort of get the same sort of thing as he got at Wolves, and he has done. I'm loving the structure we've got at the minute. I don't want big players on massive money and massive signings and all that. I want to pick up these Brazilian talents like Igor Jesus, Jai Cunha, and these other two guys, Mabangala from Juventus and Timothy Weah. Can't say I've ever really. I don't know anything about them, to be fair, apart from what I've seen on YouTube. But that's what I want. I'm looking forward to seeing these players in a shirt, and I want to see us get right up there again this season. We're burnt out. I mean, it was always going to happen, weren't it, at some point? But I'm absolutely delighted. I couldn't be an happier Red if I tried, to be fair.
Good point, Kenny. I just see this comment from the Toronto Gooner. Big up, mate. Jezza, thoughts and Spurs are eyeing up Eze. I'll be pissed if that happens. I mean, this is a player we should be in for, Kenny, don't you think?
100%. To be honest, I was very surprised that Eze didn't join Spurs last season, because I've been was on a Spurs show just before the North London derby, not last season, the season before that. And there was talk of Eze him and his agent being invited to the North London derby in 2024 in lieu of him joining Tottenham. That didn't materialise, obviously, this season. But, the Eze to Spurs, kind of link, that is something that's been a long-term thing that Spurs have been looking at the guy. I think Arsenal should be looking at him without a shadow of doubt, because he gives us that option. He's now doing it in the big games as well for Crystal Palace, and the international level, he's only going to get better. He's now at a stage where everything's come together, and he's looking like the finished article. So I'll be gutted that Arsenal ain't going for him. But I think with Arsenal, when they go for players, there's a business angle in turn, as well as a footballing angle, and you don't have to look at the two signings we should be making. Zubimendi is a business angle. He's only about 24, 25. And Sesko's 21, 22 soon. So for a business point of view, especially Sesko, there's all sorts of, like things that, attractive are his age, the fact, the length of the contract, and all they're talking about is a clause at the moment. But in terms of like where Arsenal should go next season, first and foremost, I think 6 or 7 players. I think Arsenal fans have to be realistic. Realistic on 2 fronts. One, Berta's position, that he has to do 3 jobs, 3 aspects of his jobs: sell, buy, deal with contracts. Most important thing as well, PSR is kill football clubs. You can have as much turnover as you want, 700 million, 300 million. But in terms of PSI rules, it's very strict on. They have strict guidelines, and can't rely on just spending all that money, keeping the present squad. It's just unrealistic. It's not realistic. Because of PSI, you have to sell a star. The budget we have can be increased if we get wages off the books. Martinelli is a player that shouts. I know a lot of fans say, well, we don't want to get rid of Martinelli. We shouldn't get rid of our best players. Understand London football. Can't have it both ways. You can't complain about Man City doping, and then when we try to do something with PSR, you complain about having to lose your best players. Well, be careful what you wish for. If you want to stop Newcastle, Man City, and Spurs, i.e. the Red Cartel, well, these are the rules that you wanted in place to curb their spending. Well, now it's on you.
True, that's a good point, mate. Very good point. It's I don't know. I'm going to come back to this about this Zupermendi, Gokares, Sesko, and all this. Linked with everyone again. But as Ravi says, I'll just start you other comment, Ravi. I'm going to come back to that. Thoughts on Sesko stacked in his Bundesliga career. Benjamin Sesko scored 13 goals and has 5 assists across 33 appearances for RB Leipzig. He has played 2,380 minutes. Kenny, sorry, mate, you may disagree with me, and I expect you will, or you may well. I don't think that's good enough, mate.
Well, the thing about it is that Arsenal not buying the finished article; they're buying potential. I think this potential this signing, which looks like more than a potential signing, has reeks of long-term aspirations for the player and a business deal as well. Like the two come, like hand in hand. The business model itself, 22 years old, long contract, can cash in on him. He wants a clause in his contract. We'll probably said, right, if he turns out to be the player that Mikel Arteta thinks he's going to be, and he evolves, then yeah, that's a player that we ain't going to want to lose. But if someone wants to come in for him, boom, slap a clause in him, and then he's thinking, well, if they think I'm the player we're going to be, Arsenal may not be the biggest club in the world. I might want to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona. So yeah, slap a clause on me. And I think that's the thing. There's no doubt in my world that he is no world beater. No way is a world beater. But it's about the long game. And that's what Arsenal do with certain players. It's always the long game. But rightly so, you need someone right now. That's why the Gyökeres thing is attractive, because what Arsenal have done is that they've done the right thing. It's not a long-term project. But if a player's saying there's a clause in his contract and he's saying he's for sale, all the big clubs in Europe, Arsenal included, have to show an interest, have to put their cards on the table, which is Arsenal are doing. What Arsenal fans are conflicted about is they're not sure about they're not sure about Gyökeres. Sorry, I'm sure about Sesko. They think they're sure about Gyökeres, but if you offered Arsenal fans someone who's better, levels above both those players and available, I think Arsenal fans would take the latter rather than both of them. I really think that.
But the thing is on this, I mean, it's I don't know. I'll ask you, Tone, then Yeti, then Kenny. Why does it take Arsenal so long, right, to make a deal? I mean, for the last 2 weeks, last week, Zupermendi's in London, his agent's in London, this, that, and the other. Well, if it's done, why don't we announce it?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, the end of last season, it was supposed to be a done deal. So when the new one came in, he should be already there. But it seems to be he's stuck on the Elephant and Castle roundabout, and he's going around and round and round and round. He ain't got off it. It just makes a mockery of the whole situation at Arsenal. And for the real fans, all you keep hearing is, we've got this player coming and you're still waiting. And I don't know, maybe I might be wrong out of saying this. Is it the fact that Arsenal have not got that appeal that some of the other clubs are offering?
Good point. Yeti, I mean, your club, when you don't piss about, you just get the player. You talk about a player, then it's announced, done, deal done.
Yeah.
Players turning up, see him in the Forest shirt, and move on. I just don't understand why Arsenal have to take forever and a year to bloody make a deal. This thing, as Tony just said, we've been talking about this forever. We were talking about it at bloody Christmas. And, supposedly he was in London. We had that story about another player once before outside the Emirates, where he's probably just having a look around London, to be honest. But his agent was in London, all this, all that. But we just don't get it done. And then it'll come a panic time buy, and we're going to move on to that in a little bit.
Mm.
Your club moves fast. You do.
Yeah, seems to. I mean, go on.
No, I mean, respectfully, Arsenal are supposedly the third biggest club in England. I dispute that now. I think we're probably the fourth. But Newcastle, they're moving. Man City, they're moving. Look at what Liverpool's done. Right, and here we are, knowing we need a number 9. Here we are, knowing we need to replace players that aren't good enough. And we're sitting back once again doing absolutely F all.
Yeah. I mean, I think personally, the answer, in my opinion, is Gyökeres, not Sesko. You look at his numbers and everything like that, but then with him supposedly going to go on strike, will that make Arteta go, I don't want someone like that? Do you know what I mean? Because apparently he's about to do that. As for how long it takes you guys to sign, I think it purely comes down to the fact of penny pinching and trying to get things cheaper than what it initially costs. Because if you leave it so late in the window, then all of a sudden they'll take a little bit less. Or, I mean, this is how I imagine Arsenal's dealings when they're trying to sign someone. Will you take 10 million? No. What about 10 million and 50p? No, not 10 million 50p. What about 10 million and 51p? And that's why it all takes so long. This is just my opinion, and it happens all the time, and it must be something to do with something like that, because this guy is single-handedly sort of taking your reputation down and everything for who you are, the way you used to just sign these big players and all that kind of stuff. And he's just taking, in my opinion anyway, as a Forest fan, there's always an outside opinion. And I think he's really sort of driving you in. I mean, you might all of a sudden come up with some signings that are that's sorted, Nico Williams, all that kind of stuff. But by the time you mess around, one of the others comes in and just goes, we want him, bang, we're having him. And they just get it done straight away. And that's kind of where it's all goes wrong, in my opinion. I mean, look, like what you said, Kenny, I'll come back onto this as well. You said Sesko, if Arteta sees something in him, then I'll back him. He saw something in Nketiah, and he gave him 100k a week. Look how that went. So I'm look, I hope you get something sorted out and stuff. But this guy's not the guy. I've been saying it for ages, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But it's quite disappointing. I think we'll have things sorted as soon as that World Club Cup's done, because a lot of players are there. So as soon as that's done, then I think we'll start drafting players in.
Yeah, I can see it happening. I think other clubs are moving quicker than us, and that's a big concern. I'm going to come back to that. Rafi, Tony, big up thoughts on West Ham, how they can pick up points in general to finish better in the league. Good question.
Basically, put a super glue on the locks for the other changing room, and they can't come out, and they get guaranteed 3 points. I think at this moment, that's the only way we're going to get around it. Looking at the fixtures for the first couple of months, I think we've got to be kind of realistic in the teams we're facing, and I'm probably looking at about 4, maybe 5 points if you're lucky in the first couple of months. So he's basically what he's got to do. He's got to get the tactics right. He's got to get the formation right, and basically he's got to get him playing right. Because last season we was all wondering what they was. 1 minute he gets it right, like when we played you at the Emirates, and like when we played Liverpool, we lost that because he made silly changes which he didn't need to. We've got a point out of Liverpool, and some of the tactics he's done has actually cost us points, and that's why the worst part about it is when you look at the managers we've had recently. Potter's got a worse rating than Avram Grant, and he sent us down.
Good point. That is a good point. The thing is that what I'm seeing at the moment, I'm going to come to you, Kenny, on this one. Right. I see people, I've done a few shows in the last few days and talking about various things. Martinelli, mate. Is he a keeper or do we let him go? Because to me, he hasn't gone. He's regressed. He hasn't improved under this manager, and I think that's a great shame. So my saying on this is right. He's a young guy. He's got still a big future ahead of him. If he's not going to improve under this coach, manager, whatever, let him go. Get some money for him.
Well, the thing about Martinelli, it's a very interesting one. It's like the same fans who think he's going to be, who think he's elite, and that he's the same level as Saka, are the same people who are saying that if you get rid of him, who's our backup option? I mean, make your minds up. One minute he's an elite player, and then he's a backup option. I mean, you can't keep wishing for the guy to get back to levels that he was before. It's just not going to happen. Not the way we play. You know, there are going to be occasional glimpses, but he's not going to be as consistent. He's not one of those players that he doesn't look like. If Martinelli plays well, then it all comes together. But Saka doesn't have to play that well for it to come together. For him to, create something, it's out of nothing. For him to get a goal. You know what I mean? A lot of people said Saka hasn't been full tilt, for a while. However, you look at his numbers, it's still of a sort of like a requisite level. You can't say that about Martinelli. Martinelli clearly, since last season, since the 23-24 season, especially the back end of it, hasn't been the same player. Last season, everyone was commenting about the same thing. His inability to beat his direct opponent, the goal threats, the fact that he's not in the right positions, and just his general play. And I don't see him improving. There has to be better than him. Football has to evolve. He's still a young man. He's still on massive wages. If you do want to get the players that we feel we need, you can't keep. You've got to be able to make a sacrifice. He's a player you definitely sacrifice. The guy who started this all anyway was the manager. The minute he went hard, and I mean hard, for Mudryk, was the beginning and end for Martinelli. You don't go in hard for a player like Mudryk and his potential if you're satisfied with Martinelli. Come on, you can't want competition for places that badly. There's got to be something in it where you have a hunch that this is as good as it's going to get, and the manager's been proved right.
That's a good point, actually. Some RSO guilty says get players who make things happen, score and dribble and score. Vlahovic, Kingsley Coman, Xavi Simons, top players are available, but we're linked with idiots. Well, that's
you're going to get Rashford, mate. I'm telling you now.
Don't. Again, some RSO guilty says we missed out on Isaac. He was in London. Everyone knew. Get him now. Look, yeah, there you go. That's Arsenal, man. That's how it works. But the other thing is, this is the one that really gets up my nose. It really does this, right? Harriet's the arse. They're not even the third biggest club in London. Oh dear. Well, I can't agree with you on that. But, I hear what you're saying, fella.
Big up, Harry. Big up.
I hear what you're saying, man. Yeti.
Yeah.
I did a stream about this the other night. Why is it Arsenal are now becoming the Chelsea retirement home? What are we doing here? Is there? I mean, I'm beginning to think, and I'm going to ask you, then Tone and Kenny this. I honestly think we've got some sort of we've become not a feeder club, but the retirement club for these bloody players. Every season now, this has been going on for what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah,
get a Chelsea reject. Well, I mean, I can't even think of one of them in the last few years that's actually made any improvement to Arsenal. I mean, last year was an absolute waste of time.
Yeah.
Complete and utter waste of money. And now we're looking at possibly another bloody one. I mean,
really?
I can honestly say, I'm going to shut up and I'll let you have your say, mate, in a minute. I can honestly see this will be a typical panic day, last minute loan signing, to come to Arsenal? Go on, mate. You say what you think.
Well, I mean, it's weird. It is weird. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It is very strange. It's like you're trying to do them favours when it's favours that you need to have for yourselves, really. I mean, the Havertz, I know that's not a retirement home. I mean, that one for 65 mil was bizarre to me. But then you've got like Sterling, who basically didn't offer anything. Didn't really do anything. You got, what was the other guy's name in the centre who's just gone? Can't remember his name. The one you got, the midfielder. I think he's left, hasn't he? At times there was a few games where he was all right, to be fair, but it wasn't. It's not what you should be doing. It's not what you should be picking out. You should be doing like the same as what we're doing and finding these young talents overseas and all that kind of stuff, which most other clubs are actually doing. So I don't understand. I mean, or just picking off players like if a team has a really good season, then you pick their players off, like Semenyo's and all that kind of stuff. You know, Eze, 100%, like what Kenny says, Eze, 100%. And it makes no sense to me what Arsenal are doing, and I think it all boils down to that Spanish prat that like thinks he knows what he's doing, and he doesn't, and he's the one behind all of it, in my opinion. And I think if you sort of like, if he eventually goes, which would be good to see. Well, not at the minute. Wait till we get above you, and then you can get rid of him and start challenging us. But if he eventually goes and somebody came in with a bit of management now, so I think you'd see a massive change straight away. I do, honestly. I really do.
Tone, you know, I mean, West Ham, you know, there's a big history between Chelsea and West Ham. Maybe not all for the right reasons, but don't you find it a bit weird that a club like Arsenal, we are consistently every 5 years, I think I'm right in saying, Kenny will probably correct me if I'm wrong on this, but what the hell are we doing? We're supposed to be a big club. We never used to do this. We never used to buy other players' rejects. We never used to even buying players from other English clubs to a point. We'd go shopping and we bring them in from abroad or from the youth academy. What do you think we're doing here, man? Seriously.
I mean, the funny part, we used to be like that. We used to take all the rejects. And if we've shut up shop, and that's why they don't come to us anymore, and they see you as an easy target. I mean, the one that stands out to me, I mean, I can see one of the chaps in there has put all the players that you've got from Chelsea, but the one that stood out for me is Willian.
Big up Rosa.
When you look at Willian, it is a case of he wanted a 3-year contract at Chelsea. They weren't willing to give it, whereas you were, and that's the only reason why he signed for you. And that was just, you know, a complete flop doing that. So where you're going with it, it's not showing you ambitious as a club, for sure. And, no. You know, and then you've already mentioned people like Newcastle, the Aston Villas of this world, and not being funny. And we've already said it, even last season. We bought 10 players, but you look what Forest bought. They bought players that hit the road running, and that's why they had the season they did. And unfortunately, you're falling by the pecking order. And this season, we're seeing the likes of City going out and getting 5 players. You've got basically Liverpool going out and splashing the cash.
Yeah.
And they're not finished yet. I mean, they're talking about putting another offer in for Isaac, and who is it? There's another player they're talking about as well. So Liverpool, that's the one, yeah, from Palace. So when you look at that, they're not resting on their laurels. They want to win it again. That's the main battle. Whereas you guys, for some reason, you're in this kind of stale block. So you really got to question what the Quonkies want, what this manager wants, and what are you developing. I mean, you've only had a couple of youth players come through the ranks, and even Wanyeri, I mean, his contract runs up shortly, him and Partey.
Yeah, so Partey's going, isn't he? He's going. I think
he's going. But I think you've still got to do talks with Wanyeri. Otherwise, if you're not careful, some team will they'll sniff the old carcass there and they'll have him before you know it.
And Skelly.
Yeah, you're as you know, for an Arsenal fan, it must be kind of. I mean, it's bad enough for West Ham, but for an Arsenal fan, it must be kind of worrying and concerning where you're going, because this season, you know, it's all been put out there. You're going to be lucky if you're going to finish third.
I'd be very surprised we finish fifth. Be truthful with you, Kenny. Don't you find it rather annoying, right? As a lifelong Arsenal fan as you are, that we are looking again, Kenny, at a Chelsea player. We never used to work like this. You know, we'd go out and we get the best of the best, and we're now looking at this guy. And I can see it being another shit transfer window where it's going to be all. I'm not impressed so far what I'm seeing from Berta, or is it, Kenny, that we haven't actually got the money we actually think we have?
Look, the money's there. The money's there because in terms of turnover, it's about the ability to spend it legally, and in terms of like spending, and that's the situation. You know, clubs are very, 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 very sort of like mindful of PSR. Arsenal last season, they waited for Sesko. They're still waiting for Sesko, and they got a few fringe players off their books because of they were able to get a couple of young players in. Alleged experienced players, Marino and Calafiori. But this season, in terms of Arsenal being a Chelsea retirement, I always say to myself, we probably made up for the fact we never got Salomon Kalou. Because I remember when Salomon Kalou was every year, there was a period about 15 years ago, every season he was going to come to Arsenal. You know, every season, right, he's going to come to Arsenal. And guess what? He comes to he didn't come to Arsenal, but since then we've got Petr Cech, Willian, Jorginho, Benny Yoon, David Luiz, Sterling. That's ones I can remember, but there's got to be other players as well that they're out there as well.
They took Ashley Cole off you.
Well, Ashley Cole was it's all about broken promises by David Dean. I mean, all intents and purposes, Ashley Cole's a gooner. The truest thing Henri said is that Ashley Cole's a gooner. He is a gooner. Whole family of gooners. But the fact is that the minute Arsenal didn't give him his money, and then Arsenal reported him and Chelsea to the Premier League, it was over. It was over. We lost him. He went to Chelsea, and it wasn't a bad move, was it? But then again, you had players like Aubameyang trying to engineer moves to Chelsea. He finally got his move, but not directly from us. But the Chelsea thing is simple. They're available. They will come because they want to stay in London. And that's the attractive point. Every manager's been guilty. Unai Emery did it. Arteta's done it a couple of times. And Arsene Wenger started the ball running. So there's this sort of mindset at the football club, especially when it comes to the managing turn. They look at Chelsea players and they just look at, well, these guys are winners. These guys have won big trophies. They won Champions Leagues, they won FA, they won the leagues. We haven't won anything. We need their kind of their gold dust on the Arsenal. And I think that's what it is. But the most obvious one is they're going to come anyway. If you are getting to that sort of panic buy stage, then you're going to, these players, you contact Chelsea and say, right, we'll accept blah, blah, blah for this money. And this player went, yeah, I'll go Arsenal. I'm staying in London. Easy pickings. But this mindset about Chelsea knows best. Well, we're only going to get rid of that mindset if we start winning trophies ourselves.
True. Michael's come up with a point here. Arsenal will regress this season. When the window shuts, I bet Nelson, Vieira and Lokonga will back in the squad because we lost 5 squad players on free transfers and end of loans and needed 5 already. There you go. I mean, Partey looks like he's out the door. Looks like he's gone. So, where are we going here? Where are we going? And it's a shocking shit disgrace of a football club. And it just winds me up. We know what we need. We know what we need to do, but we're just not doing it. And it's so annoying, because I just see it every single day and think, are we going to sign? Are we actually going to get anyone? It's next week. It's 1st of July. And am I starting to panic a bit? Yeah, I am, because I'm thinking, well, where are we going to go here? And if I can see it, Kenny can see it, you guys, Matt, Yeti and Tone, you can see it, the chat can see it, the comments are coming in about it. Yeah.
Yep.
When are we going to move? With us sitting here like a bunch of idiots. And I'm sorry, I've got a theory on it, right? And I'm going to share that theory. It's quite obvious Arteta wants Sesko, and I think Bert is saying no.
Mm.
No.
Conflict of interest.
Not worth the money. Not paying that money. He obviously has a little bit of sway. Well, at least I bloody hope he has. And he's saying, no. He's the wrong bloke. I don't think Arteta wants Gyökeres. And the thing is, if we do get Gyökeres and Arteta don't want him, and I'll ask you this, Kelly, we know the relationship's going to break down. It's going to be another Aubameyang, right?
Yeah.
He's going to piss the guy off. The guy ain't going to be happy at Arsenal because of the arrogance and the impetuousness of this bloody manager. And Kenny, until he goes, we're never going to go. I'm sorry to have to say it to you. We're never going anywhere.
It's not the first time these sort of things happen. You have to look at Chelsea, 2 players. I never got the impression that Jose Mourinho wanted Shevchenko, that Shevchenko was a gift from Roman Abramovich. And the same with Ancelotti and sub-cook managers after that. I don't think they really wanted Fernando Torres, because they still had Didier Drogba. But these are players that, because they're available, the clubs went in for them aggressively, regardless of what the manager wants. The thing with Gyökeres is that, it's Mikel's job. Money is being paid to make it work. But managers are creatures of habit. If they don't really want a player and the players fest them on them, it don't work. It really doesn't work. As I said before, I've seen no evidence to suggest that we were. I've seen no evidence to suggest that Arsenal Gyökeres was a long term, target for the football club. Maybe I'm wrong, because it's possible I'm wrong, but I've never seen the evidence. But I've seen loads of evidence about Sesko. Who knows? Maybe Arteta might bring him on, but and Sesko may buy into what Mikel wants. But the fact is that fans, because they're getting a player that who potentially can score goals.
You ain't done that well at Leipzig, though, mate.
Yeah, but you're talking about Sesko. I'm talking about kind of Gyökeres. In terms of Gyökeres, obviously there's always going to be that figure of doubt in people's minds. He played in England. He didn't get out of skids at Brighton. He went to Coventry. He was only playing the Championship. The question is, can he transfer that form from the Portuguese La Liga to the Premiership with a manager that is going to expect him to do his own defensive tracking back and be the first press at the same time and score goals? That's something that his game has to sort of his game has to adjust. That's the big question. The manager generally thinks that in terms of all the attributes like first touch, ability to change positions, link up the play, pace, ability to hold the ball up, all those sort of attributes, he sees them more in Sesko than he does in Gyökeres, despite Gyökeres' high volume of success in front of goal.
Well, and assists as well. I mean, Gyökeres has got massive assists as well. In my opinion, he fits into your team superbly. But as you've said, with the issues that it's like him on about going on strike now, and he has had those kind of issues before where he's gone off at certain things, and he has got a bit of a temperament. I think Arteta will play it safe and he will go the Sesko route instead of the Gyökeres route. Gyökeres is the answer that you need, I think. But even if you get Sesko, at least you've got a striker. So, I mean, at least you've actually got somebody in the middle.
Yeah, okay. I can't agree with you on that, but
I should say it's better than not having one at all, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Michael Chelsea.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Don't know what game you're watching, mate, but we've done a lot of watch-longs together, and you know, yeah, I'd lay off them lagers a little bit.
Hey, I'm trying to say something that gives you a little bit of hope. It's very difficult to do that with an Arsenal fan right now, but
you know the saying, Yeti. You know the saying, it's the hope that kills you. That's probably why Jez don't hear it.
I mean, you know, come on, man. I mean, I just don't think. Honestly, I don't think behind the scenes Arsenal's a happy little family. I don't think that Bert and Arteta are getting on, personally, but I might be wrong. They might be the best of buddies, but I'm not seeing it at all, to be honest.
If they're both strong-willed characters, then you're going to have conflict every single time, aren't you? And if Bert is saying he wants this, and Arteta's, and you know Arteta's like his arrogance, his ignorance, and his self-worth, is he going to listen to someone? Because as far as he's concerned, whatever he does should go. Simple as that. And that's where probably Bert, much as he had the pulling power where he was before, Flecko, is he going to have the same kind of back in here? I mean, at the end of the day, he's been brought in for a reason, surely. How are we doing, Leslie? He's been brought in for a reason, so surely we should be seeing something at this stage. But at the moment, it seems like we've got him there, but let's just hide him around in the broom cupboard, and that way we can do something. But like you mentioned earlier, Jez, and I've seen it in one of the other streams before, it seems like you've got the double-decker bus hired because you're going to have all these players turn up on the 1st of July, so that's going to be quite interesting.
Fair enough. I've got some comments. Just going to do something. I've got some good questions starred. Well, I want to do this before we end up. Because,
big up, Jack, mate.
Big up, Jack, man. Big up to you, lads. Got my heart MRI back, and there seems to be some scarring issues, so fingers crossed I can get it sorted. Geez, for you, man, your age, man, you got a scar on your heart. Bloody hell, man. Have you had a heart attack? That's not good.
Something happened at Pallet at the Cup final where I think he had an attack of sorts, you know, celebrating then winning the Cup final, and then then what's happening? He was rushed to hospital, and he kept in overnight, and he's going to be monitored, you know, MRI, ECG. Yeah, it's one of those things where it takes for that to happen for them to find out something's wrong with you know, one of your most important organ, your heart. So hopefully they can get medication, do something about it.
They'll sort it, man, because I've been down that road, and I know where you're going on that one. And well, obviously you live in, I know where you live, but obviously if you need the big care, you'll be up at St. Bart's like I was, and they'll sort you out, buddy. It's the best heart hospital in England. They'll get you right, buddy. Don't worry about that. And I wish you all the very, very best.
Absolutely.
And look after yourself, my friend. Anyway, this is a question, right, from Ravi. Question to all thoughts on building a squad in general for needing to keep the squad as fresh as possible for Cup, comps, and Europe. There you go. That's a good question, man. So, I'll start this off. In my honest opinion, Arsenal don't have a squad to compete on full fronts. We're not we haven't got a squad depth. We haven't got that at all, and it's proven. The fact that players are overplayed in games that they shouldn't have to play in, to be honest. We should have players that can come in and still do the job, but we haven't got that. And I have to, sorry to say it, I'll repeat myself, Arteta is to blame. I think he's an absolute useless manager and a useless coach. He's destroyed our squad. I don't think, Kenny, I'm going to come to you on this one first, and then I'll go Yeti and then Tone. I think we're in a worse position now than we were when he joined the bloody club, if you want my honest opinion.
I think expectations are higher now than what we were before. They're really some big expectations, and rightly so. I think everyone at the football club, players and managers are frustrated. You have to be frustrated. You have to be frustrated that you've challenged for the title in 2023, and you basically blew an eight point lead, and then the season after that, 23-24. You lost against Aston Villa, so it has to be frustration. Then last season has to be the biggest frustration because your direct obstacle fell off the wagon, which is normal. They fell off the wagon, and by falling off the wagon, Arsenal didn't capitalise. So I think proper footballers and proper football people are not going to use injuries as an excuse. They're going to think, what the hell's happened here? And I think Arsenal, what they need to do is that I'm frustrated as well because I'm hearing that some Arsenal fans said you've got to bin off one of the competitions. You know what? I won't lie. I'm frustrated at the prospect. I'm more frustrated at the fact they're saying it, not at them, because deep down they probably got a point. Because if we don't get the players that I think we need, 6 or 7 we need, then we ain't going to be acting like Liverpool and Man City that go for everything in full front. We have to be better prepared next season with the Champions League, the intensity of it. I think we've coped with it eventually, but it had a massive impact on our league form. So we're going to be able to, now we're better prepared. There can't be any excuses. Now there's no easy games in the Champions League from the first game up to potentially the final. They're all hard games. None of this arse protection. Oh yeah, let's have an easy 6 games. 3 easy games at home and a couple of easy ones away, and we finish first or second. You've got to now a proper league, league format where if you don't finish 8th, then God help you, then you're going to be in the playoffs. So Arsenal need to not allow that to affect the league form. So that's why there's going to be no excuses. You know the situation.
True. Yeah, very true, man. Same question to you then, Yeti. What do you think?
Well, basically, I think we're doing things the right way. I think we've already got a squad. We've already got a great dressing room in that everybody fits together. I think we've got to sort of keep things together, keep the team together. I don't want to be selling Noah Langers to Newcastle. So there's no reason for us to do that. There's no reason to let Morgan Gibbs-White go. You have to know what their side of it as well, obviously. And just bringing in players to, a bit of quality here, there and everywhere. And I think we all geared up to be able to do something like that. But we need to get a lot of players in the background that can fit in if you get any injuries or anything like that. Igor Jesus as somebody who could definitely change the game differently to the way Woods plays. I mean, I watched him last night against Atletico Madrid, and that guy impresses me a lot, absolute lot, and I can't wait to see him in a Forest shirt. Same as Konya, he could read the game in his defensive situation. Only 20 years old. And I think that's the key. The other 2 guys, I'm not quite sure on. I watched them today. There was one of them that I was like, yeah, we'll see with you because you do like to take a dive every now and then. I think you might be better off going down south instead of staying up here. But he's like, so hopefully we get that out of him if we do manage to get him. But the thing is, the announcement wasn't anything anyway. We've not talked to the players. We've not sorted anything out with the players. We've not made any bids. But yeah, I mean, well, what is that then? It's not anything. So basically, you're talking to me like I'm talking to you guys. No, but Yeah, so I mean, all we got to do is just get more players in to a different position, so we've got that cover. And I think we've got more chance of getting that cover than you guys have, because how much are you guys going to spend? You know, I mean, to me, you're going to penny pinch right till the end point, and I 100%, I guarantee it right now. I said it with Sterling, and I'm saying it with Rashford. He's a gunner.
Good point. Tony, your squad competing on all fronts next season. I mean, obviously, you haven't got Europe to worry about, but you've still got to compete in the Prem. You're going to go for it. And, of course, you're going to go for the Cups. So, where do you think you've got to build on it, man?
Like you, we need a striker. We need a forward, someone up top, man up top, because we don't know what's going to go on with Antonio. 1 minute it's the case he's a free agent. Possibility he could be staying on for another 2 years with a reduced wage bill. We don't know if Fulkrug's going to still be here, because apparently I think one of the Spanish clubs are coming in for him, and we definitely need to sort the midfield out. We don't know what's going on with Paqueta. We're still waiting to hear for the hearing of this player, and so it must be severely affecting him. And of course, we need a left back virtually, because we've got rid of all of them. So yeah, we're struggling in that respect. So we need to kind of we need at least 4 or 5 players to kind of get somewhere. And going back to that question that Robbie said, a typical example I said for us was the Europa Conference. We won that and never built on from that point onwards, and basically we've paid the price ever since.
Yeah, fair point. Another good question put in here from Anthony Tractor. Question, Yeti, I think we'll get 3 stars before you get your third one. Christ almighty.
Well, my only reply to that, Anthony, is you ever tried going on stage and being a comedian? Because you don't often come up with some good jokes.
Yeah. Jesus, I don't feel I'll ever see that in my lifetime. Not the way we're going, which is that's a topic actually, but we're not going to get time today about that one. Why are we so crap in Europe? Because we are probably one of the biggest clubs. We're probably, in my opinion. Yeah, let's talk about that very quickly, right? I don't want to keep this a long show. Kenny and I have got to move on, but Kenny, we're probably one of the biggest clubs in Europe, right? Probably in the top 10, I'd say. And yet we're shit. We are absolutely crap in Europe.
No, I think because there's been reasons that I think under Arsene Wenger, we were brilliant in the league. Hard to beat, but in Europe, you're playing teams as good as you, and you are playing managers that will watch the opposition, will try and limit the amount of attacks you make, and tactically, the tactics will come into play, and that's where we struggle tactically in Europe, especially under Arsene Wenger. Even with our great teams, that included Thierry, we never got it right tactically. The only time we got it right tactically in Europe, we got to the final in the Champions League, and you would have thought, did we get it right tactically because we had injuries? If we had the players, we had the big players, would he play like that? Defensively, we were really sound going to what was that final Barcelona against Barcelona in Paris. We had a plan. We had a game plan. We hit teams on the break. We defended for our lives. Lehmann was brilliant in goal. Our fault. You know what I mean? Ashley Cole was injured all season. Put Flamini there. Boom. Help yourself. He just basically stayed back. Ubuwe attacked, and he was like he overlapped. One stays, one overlaps. Henri was on fire. Apart from that, tactically, we've been fan wanting, really have, and even the latter stages, midfield in the Champions League is that's where we failed. But I think our best chance, and I think our players stitched us up. They sold us out down the river at Baku against Chelsea. They put their grievances towards their coach before the team and before the club and the fans, because that team out there shouldn't be losing 4-1 to Chelsea. As good as Chelsea are, we had the right manager we had a tax in place, and certain players just stuck their things up to the manager and threw him into the walls. And I know, and thankfully, all those players no longer play for the club. Doesn't matter whether they're heroes or not. As much as they're angry with the manager, at the end of the day, they sold us down the river, and that's got to be documented.
True, I totally agree with that. And the thing is, what I don't get on that, I actually liked Emery. I actually thought he was a decent coach, personally. I think if we'd kept him, we'd have won shit by now. Maybe not in Europe, maybe not, but certainly we'd have won. I reckon we would have won a Premier League, and I reckon we would have won at least another cup. But not with this clown. Not with this clown. But it is frustrating. You know, I mean, Christ, come on. West Ham have won a trophy in Europe before, since we have. And the last time we had one was back in, what, 94? You know?
Yeah.
Shit, man. Shit. That's absolute shit. And no disrespect to West Ham at all. But, hey. Anthony's there's a question to all the panel. If there are any players of our teams you can pick, which ones would you pick and why? And I do include West Ham in this season. Is that going to pop at you tonight, sir?
Mate, he's making up for it, I think.
I mean, Tony, what if you could have a pick of any players, right, to come to your team? Who would you rock in for?
Gibbs White, middle of the park, powerhouse, leader. No, just one player. That's all I want, Jay. That's it. Thanks for just the one player. Yeah, that's the one I want.
I want two.
Maybe Alanka as well. Then just throw that into the mix. But Gibbs White. I mean, when you look at it, you know what he does for you guys. If you lost him, mate, I mean, bloody hell. That's your middle of the park gone. It's amazing that no one's actually coming for him. But it's good for Forest if you do keep hold of him. But yeah, that'd be one player from Forest that I'll take 100%.
I mean, I personally, maybe not the popular choice, but I'd go in for Bowen. I rate that guy. I think
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Eze, I think he'd come to Arsenal all day long. There's two straight away we can get over the line very quickly, I think, personally. But
I like Kudus. I like Mohamed Kudus.
Yeah, Kudus as well.
I do, but one thing I do covet one of Forest's centre backs, if not both of them, because they're really solid.
And they
that's
true. Yeah,
they're very old fashioned. I mean,
you want two, Gary? You want two?
The one I like is what's his name? The Balkan guy,
Milenkovic.
Yeah,
Milenkovic. I like him very much.
The Urbanator.
You say that again, yeah. I like him very much.
Yeah, I mean, Yeti, if you had the choice of your premium pick, who would you go for, man?
Well, if it comes down to like Arsenal, I mean, there's only one I want really from there, really, and that'd be probably Declan Rice. Because I mean, no disrespect to West Ham, but I think he's come on leaps and bounds since he's gone to Arsenal, and just them two free kicks against Real Madrid. I mean, they was just pure gold, you know. So I definitely sort of look at that. Other than that, defenders and all that kind of thing, there's nobody else I'd be interested in Arsenal, to be honest. I like what we've got going on at this point in time. I mean, the fact that you guys pick some of our players, and I get where you're coming from, Kenny, because Murillo and Milenkovic are just an amazing pairing, and it just shows what Nuno's doing and what he knows, because that solidified it. Because the season before, with me and Jazz were talking about it, we're losing concentration all the time. As soon as he sort of went, right, I want this Milenkovic guy, and then basically we can sort of tie it up. And I think we have. I think out of like the best like central defensive pairings, I think there's you and then there's us. And I think it's a very close battle, personally. I do think it's a very close battle between us. And other than that, the only other one that I would like to see at Forest is Haaland, to be honest. I think we could get better. I think we could play him in the right way and play him as the main point, like we used to do with Stan Collymore, and I think we could get a lot better out of him.
epic hash time, Tony. We're going down.
I know. I just replied to him. Yeah, I know.
Ooh,
Just a comment back to this, Michael Blees said that no one picked Saka.
We've got Saka.
not good in that. Right. Before we wrap this up, gentlemen, Ian's question for Jez and Kenny. Ken, do you see us adding a centre forward of quality this summer? I don't, nor do I, mate. To be honest,
We'll get a centre forward because
he won't be quality.
Well, that's the thing. Depends who it is, but whatever happens is that he better be quality because he's going to have no time to settle in.
No,
And it's not Arsenal fans who are going to be putting pressure onto him. It'll be fans from other clubs, you know, with their little songs, creative little lullabies to try and put him off his game, and it'd be the media itself because, you know, there's nothing that's highlighted more than Arsenal's need for a striker. So. Good luck to anyone that comes to this football club because you're going to have no settling period. And if you do come during pre-season, enjoy your pre-season because you're going to get no respite from the first game at Old Trafford. On the first game at Old Trafford, trust me, 17th of August, 4:30, that's when you've got to kick on or else.
I'm surprised, really, that neither of you said Chris Wood. Because, I mean, you know, you guys need a striker. And
we're not allowed to say Chris Woods. We like him. We're not allowed to. And you know why? Because there's a kind of a snobbery and prejudice of the fact. And his age as well. We're not actually allowed to say Chris Woods.
Well, it works out, Kenny. There's a forward for you, and that he's on a free. He can hit the road running, and that he did it with us as well when he came to us, and that. And he's only on a small wage bill. Granny Dings, be superb for the Arsenal. Absolutely superb for the Arsenal.
No, thank you very much. Not at all.
Him and Arteta could compare hair pieces. You know what I mean?
No, that's okay. We'll make do what we got.
I think I'd rather take Nketiah back, to be honest. Nice, mate. Big up DJB. Big up to DJB.
Big up DJB, mate.
Here tonight for the old school show. We got a bit of cross communication there, I think, to be honest. Leslie Barden says Hugo would improve the arse. Radio. Does Arteta know what a centre forward is? I don't think so. Ravi says he played for Wycombe Wanderers. Well,
he got rejected for nearly every club he went to, except for Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it?
Right. Usual suspect. Jez, keep drinking the wine. It eases the pain. Come on, you Irons. Yeah, come on, man. All with this beautiful. Hi, thoughts on Ardon Jashiri? Every club he played against in Europe is linked with him. Milan already put in a bid. Don't know anything about him. Do any of you guys know?
Is that a joke name? Ardon?
I don't know.
Let's go on the phone and have a check.
I don't know, man. Never heard of him. Arsenal, too many draws each season cost you big time, says Michael. That's true. That is true. We do throw games away. I won't deny that one, man. Bowen is worth 7. Hugels.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Ardon Jashiri is a Swiss footballer, isn't he? Yeah, 22 years old.
Midfielder of some repute.
I've never heard of him.
No, but he's only 22, and they think he's gonna be the next sort of one of the conveyor belt of Swiss players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, plays for Club Rouge.
As much as we see him as neutral, they do produce they've had some really good teams where when they play a top team in major competitions, they've just fallen apart, like England. You know what I mean? Spain in the last 2 Euros, but that's a team you should always sleep with a light on with them because one day they're going to get it right, Switzerland. Because they can't keep on producing players and not have some sort of like big tournament.
We're going to wrap
Is
it up.
is it true? Is it true? Sorry, Jez. Is it
What?
true that West Ham are actually looking at Duran to actually bring him back on loan? I've read that one as well.
Well, apparently he's I think he's realised that the Saudi thing wasn't all that. The wages are good, but I think he's realised his mistake by hastily signing for him. And yeah, it has been banded around. There was, but I don't think there's any truth in it. I don't think we will do. It sounds like he's got a bit of an attitude problem as it is anyway. So I think that's enough to turn us off of him.
Yeah.
Good point.
Brendan.
Big up to everybody that's been in the chat tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you to everybody that's liked as well. The subs have gone mental in the last 2 weeks.
Guys.
On the way to 9K now. It's quite amazing, to be fair. Mama Flossie, West Ham guy is Tony. Yeah, I was just going to say that all the guys here. It's Tony, man. Top fella. Great show.
And you've met a wild boar as well. Don't forget that. You've actually met a wild boar.
Yes, I did. That was an occasion. Yeah. Oh, mate. Proper early morning walk around the lake, and it was still a bit because it was all in the trees and everything. I thought, what the hell was that? And then all of a sudden, I see this thing. The eyes looking at me. I thought, fucking is that thing? And it was massive. It was massive. And it was about 30 yards from me. And I'm like looking at him. And I'm like, or it. Or I don't know if it's male or female. I don't know. And I'm like, whoa. It was a Mexican standoff.
You froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't move. I didn't move. And I'm thinking,
come on, then. Let's have it.
Right. Okay. I think I'm going to lose out on this one. This thing was about 3 foot tall. Seriously.
It's the width of them, though, Jez, isn't it? It's the width of the things. I mean, they're quite wide, fully grown ones.
Yeah.
Fucking wide. And of course,
Who came and rescued you?
Sorry?
Who came and helped you out?
No, I backed off. I walked away.
That's what it says to do. I was reading about it today. And it says turn around slowly. Just walk away.
He took his jacket off, Kenny, and he showed him the Arsenal badge. That was enough for him to turn around and go.
I'll say one thing, right? I'll say one thing. If you heard of that expression, feet in clay, I think most people will just freeze and just have to be paralysed with fear.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Jez, you're lucky that ball weren't Arteta in. Then you would have been in trouble.
I don't know. I mean, I've never seen one before in the real world. And it was just like you're walking around, just having a chill early, 6 in the morning. It's beautiful. It's cool. Just looking around the lake. And all of a sudden you see, what is that then? And I suddenly twig, that's a bloody wild boar. And I thought, oh, and it was grubbing about. And then he obviously heard me. And it's like that. I'm thinking, if that thing comes for me, I'm finished. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just backed off. I went, fair play, fella. You can have the ground. I'll go. I'll back off. And I double marched away. I was like, don't come after me, mate. Don't come after me.
One of the guys I work with, Jez, his mum and dad live at. He's Polish himself. His mum and dad lives at there, and their dog went near one of the mums. And of course, he had piglets. Things turned on the dog, and give it a good old whack, and it lost a tooth. So he told me once it yawns, it comes down. Its gum stays on the gum line. It stuck like this. There's no tooth. Poor thing. It's all right though, but yeah.
I have eaten wild boar. It's delicious, but I didn't realise how big they were. They are things massive. I mean, I've seen some big pigs, right? This thing was bigger than a male or a sow. It's huge. It must. I don't know how much it weighs, but I thought if that comes for me, I've had it. So it's like, get out of here, walk away.
Yeah, definitely the smart choice. I mean, there's a lot of people I was telling Mama today. It's like my mate used to turn around to me and say, like, if you're ever in the sea and a shark comes for you, as it's going to bite you, you punch it in the top of its mouth, and then you keep your elbow at the bottom, and it can't bite him. So I was like, I tell you what, you do that, I'll swim to the shore. You can speak arm wrestling the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck with that one. Good luck with that. Yeah, Hendo, it is. I have eaten boar, but it scared the shit out of me when I first. You got to remember, it's not full daylight yet. It's the sun's just coming through the trees, and you suddenly see that. I'm like, oh, hello. Yeah, it's anyway. Jez, usual suspect. Jez, you can get 60,000 of them over Arsenal.
Yeah.
True, man. Anyway, people, we're going to wrap it up. Ken, as always, man, legend. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thinking of me, and I've enjoyed the show. It's nice to be with Tony again, and with like long-haired Yeti. It's going to be like a very big season for all the clubs involved. And let me tell you something there. I'm going to leave Tony with this. If you want some, some empathy, speak to Birmingham fans, because what the Sullivan and Brady did at Birmingham, they're doing to you. They're just a safe pair of hands. They've got no ambition. As long as you guys have got no discernible debt, they don't care. That's what they are. They're not top level owners. They're just there to kick your own. The only thing that you West Ham fans have got going in the favour is Sullivan and Gold Hammers fans. That's all. Apart from that, nothing special.
I mean, just before we go, I mean, it looks like he's kind of asset stripping now, basically, old Sullivan. And like you said, he did that at Birmingham before he left. So you never know, Kenny. Every cloud's got a silver lining. That could be it. If he's going to do that and go, brilliant. Just keep on going, mate. That's all I hope for. And for something to come in and actually kind of get this club back on its feet. So we definitely need it.
Kenny, where can we find you on Instagram, man?
You can find me at Kenny Ken 1972. As I said, we're going to Dan's channel in about 15 minutes. I'm sure it's going to be very, very interesting. And obviously, the cricket's just looks like England going to win it. So that's all I've got. And plus, I've got DG tomorrow. But it's so hot now. The humidity is very high in England. Can you imagine in England? When it's hot here.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. The thing is, it's nice. It's just nice that it's about 24, 25. Sun's coming through here at the moment, so I'm going to have to pull the curtains. It's getting hot. But it's a dry heat. It's dry. It's not heavy. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice thing. But last week, 38, 36. That's too much for me, man. Can't deal with that. No, thank you. And it ruins the fishing because the fish aren't interested, man. They're just sitting on the top of the water. So night they go down and feed. And anyway, there we go. Yeti, my friend, as always, looking forward to the next season. We do the watch-alongs when we do them.
Yep.
Please shout your channel. You've got 2 channels now, I believe, haven't you? 2?
No, I'm sticking with a 1. It was an idea to do that. At the minute, it's called Nottingham Forest FC, but I think the club might have a little bit of an issue with that because it's exactly the same name as their YouTube channel. But so I'm changing it back to Long-Eared Yeti's Cave. It's an hangout. That's how I want to keep it. That's how I got where I am at the minute. So that's what I'm going to keep it as. It's not fair to sort of change it and put different shows on different channels. So I'm sticking with a 1. I get too drunk to handle 2 anyway. So I mean, there's no point in that. So anyway, thanks for having me on, mate. I really do appreciate it as always. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to Tonti. Big up to Kenny as always. And I'm chomping at the bit, mate, to get this next season going. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing these new guys in the Forest shirts, and that's where they'll get judged for me. I always judge a player when they're actually in the shirt and the way they react to actually being in the shirt. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Going to cover a few, women's games. And the most thing that I'm really looking forward to next season is covering the academy games. Because I want to see what we've got coming through, sort of thing. Do my own little scouting job. So, yeah, I'm massively looking forward to this next season. I think we're going to do well. And, Yeah, up the Reds, man. Up the Reds. But not the
Sorry.
Arsenal ones, the Forest ones. The ones with stars, not the ones without. And
He
I left
got
it
it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got it in there.
Can he? He just can't resist it, can he? Tony, my friend, thank you, mate, for coming on.
No,
Yeah,
pleasure's
you know,
always
so
been
what?
nice to be invited on the
I
show.
really enjoyed the other night as well, Sunday night on the Sunday night takeaway. That's always a good laugh. It's a good show, that, man. Where can we find you, my friend? What you got coming up?
So I'm doing a show tonight at 9 o'clock. I am going to talk about Ramsdale. It looks like it's been reignited again. He could be on his way to us. May talk about a couple of other kind of transfers that could be in the pipeline. And of course, back on Thursday with Budgie for the West Ham review as well. And then, of course, back on Sunday with the Sunday night takeaway.
Good man. Right, we're out of here, people. We're going to Kenny and I joining Dan Potts in a little bit on the 12th Man Show. And thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for liking. Any sub tonight, thank you very much indeed. And we're out of here, people. I'm going to do the outro and we're gone. And have a great evening and a great week. I'll be back probably not tomorrow. Going out with the wife for a meal tomorrow night. A lovely little restaurant like down the road. Rustic, but it's
Are
good.
you having wild boar?
I was going to say, you beat me to it. I was thinking the same.
Oh, mate, it might be. I don't know. But no, I don't want to meet another one of them fuckers, man. That was scary. Man. Kenny would have been all right. Kenny would have wrestled it. But
I don't know.
Kenny say no straight away. Look,
I don't know, man. I swear, from what I've heard, animals have got double, 10 times the strength of a human being.
Yeah, well,
I heard.
Or it or she or whatever it was. But anyway, there we go. We're out of here, people. See you later. Take care.